or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Around Our Area continues now on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Your reader for this hour is Sally Herzog. And we go to our first paper, which is the Southtowns Bee. And this is the West Seneca, Orchard Park, and East Aurora newspapers. And this is the Thursday, July 2nd, 2026 edition. And we move on to our first article. West Seneca renames parks to honor veterans. This is by Eric Kepler. The West Seneca Town Board on Monday evening unanimously approved a proposal to rename 3 of the town's parks in honor of West Seneca servicemen who were killed in action while serving in the armed forces. Following the approval, Westgate Park will be renamed Sergeant Daniel J. Shaw Memorial Park. Carriage Park will become Lieutenant Peter J. Donlin Memorial Park, and Mill Road Park will be Private First Class Paul J. Grunhaler Memorial Park. On this, the 250th anniversary of the founding of our great nation, we honor the young men and women who took up arms to overthrow British rule and fought to make our country free, Councilmember Mary Sherman said, reading the proclamation. As citizens of the United States of America, we need to honor and remember those who still fight to keep our country safe and free. There are way too many individuals who were over and above and gave their lives to defend our country and our values. They need to be recognized for their sacrifice. Members of the West Seneca Joint Veterans Committee came to the town board in February and asked the council members to suggest changing the names. Everyone was in favor of the request, although there were a few procedural hurdles that took some time to complete. And now everyone is pleased with the results. On behalf of the West Seneca Joint Veterans Committee, we would like to thank the town board for passing tonight's resolution to rename 3 parks in honor and memory of our hometown heroes who gave their all for our country, said Joint Veterans Committee Chairman John Manley. Donlin served in the United States Army Air Force during World War II, having joined in November of 1942. Donlin was piloting his P-47 fighter when he was hit by enemy gunfire over France on December 23, 1944. He was killed in action as he was unable to control his aircraft and crash-landed in a French field. Donlin had flown 74 missions, and he is interred at Lorraine American Cemetery, north of Saint-Avold, France, joining 10,489 Americans interred in Europe, largest cemetery for American servicemen who never made it home. Grunhaler served in the United States Army and was deployed to Vietnam on March 31, 1969. He was killed in action on May 6, 1969, from bullet wounds sustained from enemy gunfire at Fire Base Carolyn, Tai Nai Province, South Vietnam. He was a 1964 graduate of West Seneca Central School. Shaw joined the Army in July of 2004 and was deployed to Iraq as part of Operation Iraqi Freedom, serving in a combat area from January to August 2005 in Iraq. He returned for a second deployment in October 2006. He was killed in action in Tajai, Iraq on November 5, 2007. He was a 2003 graduate of West Seneca West Senior High School, and he is interred at Holy Cross Cemetery in Lackawanna. Shaw's parents, Ronald and Brenda Shaw, were in attendance at Monday's meeting, and after the measure was approved, Supervisor Gary Dixon called them up to the front of the room, where they were embraced by all of the board members, who thanked them for their sacrifice. "We feel honored and we appreciate it very much," said Ronald Shaw. "Danny was great. I can't say enough about him. Everything he did made me proud. Everybody who knew him loved him. Even the people that didn't like him loved him. They respected him. In the coming weeks, there will be remaining ceremonies at all three parks with signage put in place to highlight the new names. I'm just so awed at the sacrifice of the veterans that we honor today and all the veterans, Councilman Robert Bridenstine said. Because of the sacrifices of these individuals that we honor tonight and those who have gone unrecognized, there is significant reason to celebrate their sacrifices and their family sacrifices this year. Local Eagle Scout launching Hometown Hero Banner Project. This is by Justin Sullivan and Paulina Bargnese. Alma resident Dylan Trepez is putting more than a decade of scout training and service-based learning to the test as he works to fulfill the tenet of the Scout Oath to help other people at all times through his capstone Eagle Scout Service Project. To earn this achievement, Trepez is launching a Hometown Hero Banner Project with plans to display the 24-inch by 48-inch banners along Bowen Road. Eagle Scout Service projects must benefit a community organization or cause separate from Scouting America. Scouting America, formerly branded and legally named the Boy Scouts of America, is the largest scouting organization and one of the largest youth organizations in the United States, with over 1 million youth. Now a senior patrol leader for Boy Scout Troop 618, the incoming Iroquois High School junior is following in his father, Donald Trepez Jr.'s footsteps by striving to gain Eagle Scout status, the highest rank in the Scouting America program. Dylan said he was disheartened by the poor treatment that veterans received after the Vietnam War, the result of major public opposition to the unwon conflict, and wanted to honor those who served for his respective project. Hometown veteran banners serve as a highly visible, community-wide tribute that honor local servicemen and women by displaying names, photos, and service details on street poles. Towns transform abstract military service into personal stories, fostering deep civic pride, supporting military families, and keeping local history alive. When designing the banners, Dylan wanted to take a different approach than most other town banners and create something that showed the details of a person, something family members of those honored have admittedly appreciated. I wanted to do something so inspirational and leave a mark on the town, Trepez said. Last year, Dylan also notably became a chaplain aide for Scouting America, qualifying him to assist a BSC chaplain by encouraging spiritual awareness and growth in the lives of the troop members. Scouting taught me more skills than any other group I have been exposed to, Trepez said. It's honestly the greatest thing I've experienced. Trepez's own family is full of veterans, as well as those who are currently serving not just the country, but also the community. His father, Donald Jr., is a leader with the New York Air National Guard and captain with the Jameson Road Fire Company, in addition to his career as a unit chief with the New York State Department of Health. Dylan's grandfather, the late Donald Trepez Sr., was a fire chief for the Springbrook Fire Department, District No. 1, at the time of his sudden death in 2020, while attending a mandatory firefighter recruitment meeting, classifying his death as a line-of-duty death by the U.S. Fire Administration and the U.S. Department of Justice. Last year, Dylan and the Trepez family traveled to Albany to honor his late grandfather's name being added to the New York State Fallen Firefighters Memorial, alongside more than 100 other late firefighters from across the state. Chief Trepez was also a fire instructor, former emergency service coordinator for Erie County, Town of Alma disaster coordinator, chairman, of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Banners are $185 to cover the product and the hardware to display it. Banners can also be sponsored with donations of any amount currently being accepted. Donations can be mailed to Alma CERT Incorporated. Attention, Dylan Trepez, and it's DYLANTRZEPACZ, Eagle Project, P.O. Box 231, Springbrook, New York 14140. Electronic donations are also accepted via Venmo and at Alma CRT-INC and PayPal Alma CERTINC. Sturman awarded National Music Honor. Orchard Park High School senior Stephen A. Sturman has been awarded the John Philip Sousa Award, one of the nation's highest honors for young musicians, for his exceptional musicianship, leadership, and dedication to music. This award, which is the highest nationwide honor for high school band students, was presented on June 22nd during the high school's annual senior banquet at the Collins Banquet in Alma. Introduced in 1955, the award recognizes one outstanding senior annually for superior musicianship, leadership, dependability, loyalty, and cooperation. Sturman, who plays the tuba and the sousaphone, will be listed on a plaque in the music wing of Orchard Park High School and will be listed in the John Philip Sousa National Registry. He has played the tuba for 8 years, starting at Eggert Elementary under the tutelage of Tammy Fieldman. At Orchard Park Middle School, Sturman was instructed by Sarah LaPaglia and performed in the school's concert band, jazz ensemble, and was a member of the Junior Quaker Marching Band. At Orchard Park High School, he played under the direction of music teachers Adam Brignon, Symphonic Band and Quaker Marching Band, Scott Bean, Wind Ensemble and Quaker Marching Band, and Alex Safford, Orchestra. Sturman has represented the Orchard Park Central School District at various honor bands, both locally and statewide, including Erie County Music Educators Association, All-County South Junior High School Band, All-County South High School Band, and the ECMEA Senior High All-County Band, the New York State Student Music Association Area All-Star Concert Band. The most recently was the only student from Orchard Park High School to perform in the New York State Band Directors Association 2026 Honor Band in Syracuse. Sturman has been section leader in the high school symphonic band and wind ensemble, as well as the Quaker Marching Band, and was the principal tuba for the school's full orchestra. He is also the recipient of the 2026 Janet Jenke Memorial Music Scholarship, which is an annual award presented by the Orchard Park Music Boosters to a graduating senior who has demonstrated exceptional dedication and talent in the school's music program. Sturman plans to attend Fredonia University for a degree in music education. He is the son of Victoria Spagnoli Sturman and Stephen J. Sturman of Orchard Park. Democrat Quinn to run in West Seneca special election. West Seneca Democrats have endorsed Jeff Quinn for the November 3rd special election for a seat on the town council. The seat was vacated in April following the resignation of Jeff Pekarik after ethics concerns were raised over the council members sharing confidential information with town residents. The West Seneca Town Board selected Republican Mark Pryor last month to fill the seat for the rest of this year, so Pryor and Quinn will be running to fill out the remainder of Pekarik's term, which expires in 2027. Quinn, an economic development professional with a master's in public administration from Binghamton University, has been an outspoken advocate at town board meetings for greater transparency in town government. "I think now is the time to speak up and act," said Quinn, after attending board meetings and seeing how the board has minimized public concerns on a number of issues and made decision after decision with no opportunity for public comment. West Seneca needs balance and independence in our town government. If elected, Quinn pledges to advocate for greater transparency in West Seneca by requesting we return to work sessions to allow for greater public comment and information, introducing legislation to ensure all appointments to elected or executive positions in the town are publicly discussed, and require candidate resumes to be shared publicly, and introducing legislation to require more information to be shared on town board agendas, including justifications for the actions and fiscal impacts. "This isn't about Democrat or Republican issues. It's about what's right and what's wrong," Quinn said. Voters have been clear they are tired of the status quo and watching political insiders and party bosses make decisions based on what is good for them and not putting residents first. Quinn was endorsed by the Executive Committee of the Erie County Democratic Committee earlier this week. OP notification system available. The Village of Orchard Park is encouraging residents to enroll in its Civic Ready mass notification system to receive timely updates and emergency information. Alerts may include notifications about inclement weather, road closures, village events, emergencies, and other important community updates. To subscribe, residents should visit https:/portal.civicplus.com/Orchard Park notifications and click Sign Up. Users will then complete the registration form, choose the types of notifications they wish to receive, and select Sign Me Up to finish enrollment. Spindles. This is by Eric Kepler. Party time. The Aurora Historical Society is hosting its annual Community Day celebration from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, July 11th, with a full day of local history, family activities, and summer events at the Miller-Fillmers Presidential Suite 24, Shearer Avenue, East Aurora. Community Day is designed to bring the community together through historical experiences and seasonal activities. Guests will have free access to museum tours, a treasure sale, and a garden walk, along with a variety of family-friendly activities and summer refreshments. Tractors. The Erie County Fair is inviting collectors and enthusiasts to apply for the opportunity to showcase antique tractors during the 2026 Erie County Fair, August 12th to the 23rd. Applications must be received by Friday, July 17th. Erie County Fair personnel will review all submissions and make the final determination on which pieces will be accepted for exhibition. Narcan training. Staff from Spectrum Health Medication Assistant Treatment Team will once again share community resources and offer free training on the use of Narcan from noon until 3 p.m. on the second Friday of the month at the Town of West Seneca Community Center Atrium at 1300 Union Road. Narcan can reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. Knowing how to properly administer Narcan to someone who may have accidentally overused a prescription pain medication, or who used a street drug that was laced with a powerful additive, can help save lives. The training takes only 2 minutes. The MAT team will be there on August 14th. Spectrum Health also operates a full-service counseling center at 326 Orchard Park Road in West Seneca. Together, our vision becomes a reality. This is by Dr. Lisa Kruger, West Seneca District Superintendent of Schools. As we reflect on the past 2 years, one message stands above all others: thank you. The progress our school district has made would not have been possible without the unwavering support of our taxpayers, residents, parents, and community members who continue to place their trust and confidence in our schools. Your partnership has allowed us to turn ambitious goals into meaningful accomplishments that will benefit students for years to come. Together, we have developed a comprehensive district strategic plan that provides a clear roadmap for continued improvements while creating a long-range facilities plan to ensure our schools meet the needs of current and future generations. We also created a thoughtful elementary school reconfiguration to balance enrollment, creating more equitable learning opportunities for our elementary students. Most notably, our community overwhelmingly supported 2 capital improvement projects totaling nearly $89 million, which is an extraordinary investment in the future of our students and our district. While these milestones are significant, the true measure of our success is found in our students. They continue to achieve remarkable things in the classroom, in athletic competition, and through the visual and performing arts. Their accomplishments reflect not only their own hard work, but also the dedication of exceptional teachers, support staff, administrators, and families who encourage them every step of the way. Our commitment to thoughtful planning is already yielding results. We are especially proud to have recently earned 2 academic recognitions celebrating the impressive growth of our elementary students, affirming that our collective efforts are making a lasting difference. Thank you for believing in our mission and investing in the future of our children. Together, we are building a school district that reflects the pride of our community and provides every student with the opportunity to learn, grow, and succeed. Walking in nature can have added benefits. During summer, the few short months when we can enjoy being outdoors are often filled with many outdoor activities. If you are thinking about walking, it's good to think about hiking or walking outdoors in a park rather than in an urban setting like on a city street or in a mall. While we have all heard about the benefits of walking, walking in nature confers added benefits. First, let's see what walking per se does. A quick Google search on the benefits of walking lists plenty of advantages, like maintaining a healthy weight by burning off fat and calories. Walking strengthens muscles and bones, improves muscle endurance, increases energy levels, and improves cardiovascular fitness by helping to lower blood pressure. Walking is also believed to help reduce the severity of asthma and symptoms of other lung diseases. To sum it up, walking increases your overall fitness and helps you stay healthier and feel younger. Research articles published by the National Institute of Health show that while energy expenditures may be the same in a city setting and a green setting, participants in the study exhibited statistically significant differences in their psychological and physiological responses. The subjects in this study felt more comfortable, natural, relaxed, and vigorous after a walk in the park. In addition, negative emotions and anxiety were significantly lower. The study concluded that walking in a park can induce parasympathetic nerve activity, suppress sympathetic nerve activity, decrease heart rate, enhance mood, and reduce anxiety. The Stanford-led study found quantifiable evidence that walking in nature could lead to a lower risk of depression. The study revealed that neural activity in the region of the brain that is active during rumination Repetitive thought focused on negative emotions decreased among participants who walked in nature versus those who walked in an urban environment. A form of therapy gaining traction is nature therapy, also called ecotherapy. It is the practice of being in nature with the goal of boosting growth and healing, especially mental health. Also similar to that concept is ecopsychology. Researchers have found that spending time in natural settings helps lower stress, anxiety, and depression, boosts positive mood, improves resilience and the immune response, increases life expectancy, decreases anger and blood pressure, eases computer fatigue, and enhances energy, concentration, and cognitive functioning. Sigmund Freud wrote in one of his books, "Our present ego feeling is, therefore, only a shrunken residue of a much more inclusive, indeed, an all-embracing feeling, which corresponded to a more intimate bond between the ego and the world about it." Robert Greenway theorized that the mind is nature, and nature the mind, and called this study psyche-ecological. While the woods may not always be accessible or safe, many neighborhoods have parks, oftentimes with trails. So why not make the best use of nature that is freely available to us for as long as weather permits? Happy nature walking. President's second runner-up in Congressional Art Competition. Congressman Tim Kennedy announced the winner of the annual Congressional Art Competition. The winning piece from each congressional district is displayed in the Cannon Tunnel in the Capitol building. This year's winner, Miana Smith of Grand Island, visited the Capitol to meet Congressman Kennedy and see her art mounted in the halls of Congress. Miana and her fellow winners from across the country were honored at a ceremony in Washington with complimentary airline tickets provided by Southwest Airlines for all winners and one guest. The theme of Congressman Kennedy's competition this year was Western New York, a place for all of us. It is wonderful to see how dedicated and inspiring young people are across Western New York, said Kennedy. This competition showcases their talent, creativity, and commitment to making a positive impact on Western New York. I am thrilled to congratulate Miana Smith on winning this year's Congressional High School Art Competition for New York 26. Miana's piece is a powerful and deeply personal tribute to what makes Western New York great. Not only does it beautifully capture this year's theme and the welcoming spirit of Western New York, but it reflects the shared values and a sense of community that unites all Western New Yorkers. Since its inception in 1982, over 650,000 high school students have participated in the Congressional Art Competition. And before we move to our next paper, we'd like to tell you you're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And we move to the Sun, and this is the Friday, July 3rd, 2026 edition. We go to our first article, Once in a Generation Opportunity. Hamburg looks to create new district rezone SUNY Erie South Campus property. This is by Chris Graham. Hamburg Town Supervisor Elizabeth Farrell Lorenz has watched the Buffalo Bills games on television for years and has noticed the common theme, shots of downtown Buffalo, Niagara Falls, but not a focus on the areas right around Highmark Stadium. When they would do the shots out of stadium during the games, here we are featured on Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, or Sunday Night Football. And what do they show? They show Niagara Falls, Farrell Lorenz said. What I want is that they show Hamburg and the surrounding communities, and they see a well-thought-out, vibrant, balanced, engaging area that you would anticipate around a modern-day NFL stadium. She heard all the comments about how there's been no significant development around the stadium for the last 50 years. She said the treatment around the stadium area is very different than it was 50 years ago. And this time around, the town is trying to take advantage of the opportunity in front of it and create a year-round, self-sufficient district that can attract residents and visitors. The town is looking to create a stadium impact area district, which encompasses the SUNY Erie South Campus, which is 100 acres. Chris Kuschel of Fisher Associates, the consulting firm that has been working with the town for the last 2 years on the district and potential zoning changes, said the area is bigger than many downtown communities. The area has so much potential, the supervisor said. The zoning that we've crafted sets the stage for developers to come in and imagine an area unlike anything else that we've seen next to the NFL stadium. Currently, the SUNY Erie area is zoned R3, which would allow for apartments. Farrell Lorenz has stressed that she doesn't want the district to consist of apartments, storage facilities, or car washes. We all agree, as a town, that the facility, as it transitions from being the ECC campus, we did not want that to be apartment complexes, Farrell Lorenz said. This plan is to provide that zoning change and a little bit of a brighter option for the future for the property surrounding the Buffalo Bills Stadium. Farrell Lorenz said in meetings with town officials from the Bills, their hope was for the town to treat that area as an extension of the stadium, building up the game day experience. We don't want this to only be something that's used 10 times a year during games. We want it to be a year-round destination, Kuschel said. We want it to be a mixed use, vibrant, walkable, and lead to economic revitalization. The district and zoning changes would allow for mixed-use development, hotels, restaurants, entertainment-based development, retail development, athletic fields, and open space. It's over 100 acres, so there's a lot that can be done with that area, the supervisor said. Farrell Lorenz said when stakeholders started meeting about what to do with Hamburg's development around the new stadium, one of the first points that was brought up was creating a self-sufficient district that could operate year-round. It would not be dependent on just stadium events. The campus is owned by Erie County, Kuschel said. The county is very supportive of the town's plan. He added that how the county decides to dispose of that property is still up in the air. SUNY Erie trustees have announced their intention to sell the property. At this junction, we'll be meeting monthly with the county about the property, just to stay in some type of communication, Farrell Lorenz said. They're very happy with the direction that we've taken and the stewardship that we've taken to this property proactively before they're at the point of deciding exactly what mechanism they're going to use to transition it from a college campus. Kuschel said as you get closer to the stadium, it makes the most sense to have retail and entertainment focused development. Further to the west of the stadium, there would be space for athletic fields, different types of residential development, mixed-use development, and open space. There is also a secondary focus alongside McKinley Parkway up to the McKinley Mall that will be complementary to the revitalized area around the stadium. We recognize that this is also an opportunity to be transformative for surrounding areas, such as the McKinley Corridor, Farrell Lorenz said. With residential areas near the district, Kuschel said buffers are included in the plan to protect the neighbors. But neighbors in the area, like resident Jason Petronic, said they have construction fatigue. These guys have suffered with the stadium for 3 years now, Petronic said. Dust, noise, 6 in the morning pounding. We're really fatigued with that. We're very sensitive to keeping some community character and some sort of buffer from the residents and whatever is proposed. It is expected that the creation of district and zoning changes will be adopted by the Hamburg Town Board on Monday, July 13th. We want to ensure, on behalf of the people of the town of Hamburg, that this is done right and it reaches its full optimal potential, Farrell Loren said. Water tower project set to begin tank construction this month. Village officials begin talks on next steps for existing towers. This also is by Chris Graham. The concrete section of the new 180-foot water tower in the village of Hamburg are all in place. Just one thing is missing, the tank. The tower, on a plot behind Hamburg Middle School, went up in 8-foot sections and was completed in early January. During the cold months and unpredictable weather, crews began work on the inside of the tower, adding piping and electrical components. But the warm weather, July specifically, was always set to be a significant milestone for the project, with the construction of the tank. A portion of the tank will be fabricated on the ground, while another portion will be fabricated in the air. Village Administrator Jason Kaza said crews will still have to paint the tower once the tank is placed. The tower will be painted white with 2 purple H's of the Hamburg Central School District to be adorned on 2 sides of the tank, an agreement that was reached by both the village and school district. Kaza believes the tower could be painted by mid-fall. We're still very much on track for substantial completion of the project before the end of the year. Crews have been working on the tower for over $10 million capital investment for the village since 2025. The new tower, expected to hold 1.25 million gallons of water, is phase 2 of a 2-phase capital project aimed at improving water quality and increasing fire protection capability. Phase 1 was the installation of new water lines along Division Street between the middle school and North Street for a cost of $1.9 million. What's next for the existing towers? The new water tower will replace the 2 existing water towers the municipality has, the Long Avenue Tower and the Janus Tower, which have been in use since the 1950s. Those towers hold 250,000 gallons of water apiece. The existing towers are still operational, but village officials did take the first step in figuring out what to do with them next. The village has entered into a consulting agreement with Wireless Business Group, LLC, regarding the telecommunication equipment that is on the existing towers. Kaza said the consultant will work with the village to navigate the lease agreements with the telecommunication and providers and determine if the cellular communications should remain on the existing towers or move to the new tower. As we work on developing our plan for those sites, this consulting group will be assisting us with communications with the carriers, speaking specifically to the lease agreements that we have, Kaza said. We anticipate, based on when the water towers become obsolete in terms of water system, we will make some decisions regarding those telecommunications on those towers. Wireless Business Group, LLC, has experience doing this type of work for both Syracuse University and Cornell University. Kaza noted that bringing on the consultant is the first step in figuring out what to do with the existing towers. The village still has not made any decision regarding the future of the existing towers, but Kaza said they're not aesthetically pleasing and are in poor condition. Getting the new tower ready. Once the new tower is complete, the lines will connect a new tower site to a main transmission line on North Street. At the completion of the project, the village will turn the water system over to Erie County Water Authority for maintenance, effectively taking the municipality out of the water business. Kaza said he would not expect the tower to be fully operational as the main water supply for the village until 2027. Once it gets turned over to the Water Authority, after that substantial completion date, they'll have to work to do They have work to do to make sure they're comfortable to bring it online and do their testing, Koza said. Langworthy votes to pass 21st Century Road to Housing Act. Republican Representative Nick Langworthy has voted to pass the bipartisan 21st Century Road to Housing Act, a package of legislation designed to restore fairness to America's housing market, increase housing supply, and lower costs for Americans. The bill passed the U.S. House by a margin of 358 to 32. The U.S. Senate also passed the bill through its chamber with large bipartisan margins, and it now heads to President Donald Trump's desk for his signature. The last time Congress passed a housing bill of this scale and significance was in 1990, representing the most significant congressional action on housing in more than 3 decades. For too many Americans, the dream of owning a home has become increasingly out of reach because of a shortage of supply, rising costs, and housing market that has not kept pace with the needs of families, Langworthy said. The 21st Century Road to Housing Act tackles these challenges head on by bringing more homes onto the market, cutting unnecessary barriers to construction, and ensuring our housing policies work for families, not just special interests. This bill delivers on our promise to the American people, and I'm so pleased we worked together to get it done. The package takes significant steps to address America's housing shortage by removing regulatory barriers that make it harder and more expensive to build homes, encourages local governments to streamline permitting process, and expands financing opportunities to spur new construction and bring more affordable housing options to communities. Reforms to limit the ability of large institutional investors to buy up significant portions of a single-family housing market, helping preserve opportunities for families looking to purchase a home. And it modernizes and streamlines federal environmental review process for certain housing projects, reducing unnecessary delays that drive up costs and slow the creation of new homes. Langworthy noted that this legislation was the result of more than a year of negotiations to create a package that addressed the housing crisis at the root cause. The cost of the limited supply of housing has been one of the most pressing economic challenges families are facing today. But this marks a new chapter that will usher in a new era for our nation's housing market that will deliver real relief to hardworking Americans crushed by high housing costs, Langworthy said. Guy's primary victory moves him into battle with Langworthy for a New York 23rd Congressional District seat. This is by Chris Graham. After receiving a Democratic primary challenge from attorney and prosecutor Kevin Stocker, Aaron Guys, a theology professor at St. Bonaventure University, is moving to go on to the general election to face off against Representative Nick Langworthy to see who will represent the constituents of the New York 23 Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. Guys won the primary for the district that includes Chemung County, Allegheny, Cattaraugus, Chautauqua, and Tioga counties, along with parts of Schuyler, Steuben, Erie, and Niagara County. In Erie County, he received 4,790 votes, nearly 60% of the vote, to 3,330 for Stocker. We had a pretty good idea that we were out front based on all of the canvassing data, but of course that never makes you feel sure. Also, it was my first election, Guy said. It was tremendously exciting to see the early returns come in so strong, and then it was all about what is the number we're going to hit. The turnout, Guy believes, was due to him having a sound plan for where he wants to take the district and how he wants to get there. He said fixing health care is a major priority. I think that it's important information for the future. There are so many independent and unaffiliated voters in the district, and Republicans too, who just want their government to work and to be able to do things, he said. People want a plan, to actually do things to make people's lives better, and that's what we're offering. But Guise understands he has an enormous challenge ahead of him, facing off against Langworthy, an ally of President Donald Trump since joining the U.S. House in 2023, in trying to turn a district blue that has been prominently red and had 60% of it turned out for Trump in the last presidential election. I think what the primary showed is we can unite the Democrat coalition behind us, Guise said. This year, with factors fighting online and in the news, that's an important accomplishment. But in Western New York and the Southern Tier, that's only about half the battle. I have no illusions. This is still going to be a really hard fight, and we have a tough mountain to climb if we're going to reach out to independent, unaffiliated voters and disillusioned Republicans. There's a lot more work to do. Guise said the campaign knows from polling how unpopular many of the president's policies are. He said it's not enough to call out these policies and Langworthy's affiliation to them, stressing the campaign has to present a plan about how they are going to make people's lives better. What could be really impressive thing for a Democrat to do is give people something to hope for, something to feel optimistic about, Guise said. Trump sucks. It's not enough just to win an election, but it's also not enough to govern. What I hope this race accomplishes is to set an agenda for reclaiming the common good and reestablishing a view of government as the way we invest in each other and at a local level. Western New York Forward Fund to offer second round of grants for exploration of strategic realignment in nonprofit sector. The Western New York Forward Fund, a group of local funders who joined together to support the Western New York community and the local nonprofit sector in the face of major shifts in federal funding and priorities since early 2025, has announced its second round of grant opportunities for the exploration of strategic realignment and nonprofit resiliency in the Western New York area. Exploration of strategic realignment and nonprofit resiliency is one of 3 priority areas designed by the collaboration. A grant application process will open immediately for nonprofit organizations interested in exploring and or pursuing strategic realignment in varying levels, including partnerships, shared services, mergers, and other collaboration models to help organizations adapt to the evolving environment and remain resilient and responsive to community needs. More information and the application can be found in Western New York Forward Fund.org. The deadline to apply is 4 p.m. Friday, July 24th. Grant awards intended to spur reimagining of service, delivery, and innovation within the nonprofit sector will be between $2,500 and $25,000 and will be awarded in early fall. Nonprofits in the 8 counties of Western New York, Allegheny, Cattaraugus, Chautauqua, Erie, Genesee, Niagara, Orleans, and Wyoming are eligible to apply. In early 2026, the fund allocated a total of $368,690 to 18 organizations, ranging from $2,250 up to $25,000 for their strategic realignment initiatives in the fund's first round of grant making. To date, 14 local funders have contributed approximately $2.3 million to the fund, created to spark innovation, strengthen capacity, and support nonprofits as they adapt to shifting conditions and explore how to deliver services in partnership. The fund was recently awarded $1 million over 2 years to 7 organizations working to improve civic health and build common ground. This priority area is intended to fund and support initiatives that protect access to justice, due process, and legal defense, and build deeper connections between public institutions and the shareholders they serve. As part of this priority area, the fund also provided support to the Erie County Bar Association Volunteer Lawyers Project. The $150,000 grant was for their participation in the Upstate Immigration Pro Bono Collaborative that recruits, trains, and mentors private attorneys to take on immigration cases and ensure that all litigants are adequately represented in the justice system. In addition to the new grant opportunity for strategic realignment and nonprofit resilience, and recent grants in civic health and common ground, the fund will also prioritize impact data and storytelling. The priority area is intended to support efforts to collect and share critical data on how funding cuts affect organizations and the people they serve, helping the community better understand, communicate, and respond to the region's evolving needs, as well as highlight the critical role that nonprofits play in the community. Interested nonprofits can learn more about the fund and grant application process at wnyforwardfund.org. Gallivan urges students to participate in New York State's Senate's Summer Reading Program. State Senator Patrick Gallivan is encouraging students of all ages to participate in an online summer reading program sponsored by the New York State Senate. The goal is to promote reading fun for and discovery all summer long. The theme for this year is Unearth a Story. School may be out for the summer, but it's important for students to maintain and strengthen their reading skills, Gallivan said. I encourage families to visit their local library or bookstore to find books that interest them, and I hope students, parents, and guardians will participate in our summer reading program. To participate in the program, students and parents can visit nyread.com. Those who submit their completed reading form by Friday, August 21st, will receive an official summer reading certificate in recognition of their dedication and achievement. The goal of the program is to promote literacy at home, help prevent the summer slide in reading skills, and encourage a lifelong love of books and learning. Erie County Fair seeking antique tractors for 2026 exhibit. The Erie County Fair is inviting collectors and enthusiasts to apply for the opportunity to showcase antique tractors during the 2026 Erie County Fair, which will be held August 12th through Sunday, August 23rd. The longtime fair tradition, the Antique Tractor Exhibit, celebrates the history of agriculture and the machinery that helped shape farming in western New York and beyond. Fairgoers of all ages will enjoy viewing restored and preserved tractors and other antique equipment while learning about the evolution of agriculture equipment through the years. Join one of the 60-plus tractors that come together for the fair. Applications are now being accepted from individuals interested in displaying antique tractors at the fair. Applications must be received by Friday, July 17th. The fair will review all submissions and make the final determination on which pieces will be accepted for exhibition. Only selected tractors will be permitted on the Erie County Fairgrounds. All exhibited tractors must be clean, painted, and in running condition. Selected exhibitors must have their equipment in place by Tuesday, August 11th, and exhibits must remain on display for the entire duration of the fair through Monday, August 24th. As a thank you for sharing a piece of agricultural history with fairgoers, exhibitors whose tractors are selected for display will receive 3 admission tickets upon delivery of their equipment, as well as the opportunity to participate in the barbecue picnic before the fair. Those interested in participating may request an application by contacting the Competitive Exhibits Office at ceoffice@ecfair.org or call 716-649-3900, extension 6407. YMCA Buffalo Niagara to offer free swim lessons through initiative. YMCA Buffalo Niagara is offering 1,500 free swim classes to children throughout Western New York, thanks to a new grant from the statewide New York Swims initiative. Through this effort, the Y is providing free swim lessons and water safety education to Western New York children, regardless of their family's ability to pay. Made possible through a $150,000 grant by the New York State Department of Health, the initiative supports YMCA Buffalo Niagara to provide free, age-appropriate swim lessons for children ages 6 months through 12 years, reducing financial barriers and expanding access to high-quality water safety instruction for families. Drowning remains one of the leading causes of injury-related death among children, and access to swim lessons play a critical role in prevention. With the New York Swims initiative, the YMCA aims to help thousands of children and families gain confidence in and around the water while developing lifelong water safety skills. Preventing drowning is a core part of YMCA Buffalo Niagara's commitment to our community, said Vincent Riddle, Vice President of Aquatics for YMCA Buffalo Niagara. These swim lessons help children develop lifelong skills and confidence they need to be safe in and around the water. Families interested in participating can stop by any of the YMCA Buffalo Niagara 5 locations or visit ymcabn.org to learn more about swim lessons availability and registration. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour has been Sally Herzog. Thank you so much for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Ampol Eagle. At 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. And following that, 5 o'clock, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability